So, what are our main objectives today? To speak about collaboration. Okay, no problem. I understand, no problem. So, what are we going to speak today? We're going to speak of the need of collaboration. There's no other way. We hear everywhere. We hear here in Asia. We hear everywhere that tourism is a must. That we must collaborate in between each other ones. We will speak about some solutions, about the ILAC work, and connecting our issues with local expertise. So, what's Latin America? Who we are? What do we do? First, we have an identity still to take care. That's quite important. We have a unique identity in all the continent that is alive. When we speak about culture, when we speak about Latin America and the Caribbean, it's not only culture in museums or that it's so hard to find. You walk the street and you find someone which is an alive culture, like an ambassador, which is moving in there. So that's very particular, and that gives the country and gives the continent a very unique thing. And also the resiliency. We are threatened by emergency climate. We don't speak anymore about climate change. I've been speaking about climate emergency for a while, especially the Caribbean. So that also brings a lot of challenges. So I would say we have a living heritage that we need to enforce. Let's see a video here and see a little bit about our challenges and our values. This is probably a video that identifies 100% what we are and what's our mission and how we work together, the culture, the food, the dancing, the artisans, and the way to keep our traditions. This community, I always say, had the choice of bringing a Mecano bridge over there, but they wanted to keep the ancient way of connecting to the continent and so on. And I think that's the way to think about who we are and the challenges that we have to get as a continent towards sustainable development. Well, landscape, amazing landscapes all over, very different landscapes. Conservation is moving forward as well, although we're losing a lot of biodiversity in the continent, but still there's very nice projects all over on conservation. What about community? That sense of human beings together is still alive. And that's something we're losing in the planet very fast, but still in Latin America, the family, the community, the values is something unique. And it's something that has a lot to do with this industry that I mentioned that is not anymore called tourism, it's called human encounters. So this is base for having a good development of those human encounters, our storytelling, our identity, the way we live, the way we move, the way we eat, the way we are, provides an amazing source for sustainable tourism. Ancestral wisdom, all type of Aboriginal communities, all over from the Caribbean, all over the way, until Patagonia in Chile, with their styles of living, with their respect, and also with the need of understanding that not everything needs to be shared. And that's something of responsibility that tourism needs to be very well managed, because if not, we're going to destroy their culture, their way of living. And that's a threat that we need to be aware. Ethnical, cultural, these are the gauchos in the south of Chile, Brazil, Ecuador, everywhere. We have so much to share. So what role does tourism play in Latin America and the Caribbean? For sure, Mexico is one of the main stakeholders here. It's the most demand destination with over 40 million tourists visiting. And then an island, which this is pretty weird. Then República Dominicana, which is this methodology on half of the island, offering the Caribbean and offering this style of all-inclusive. Uy, interesting. Interesting way of knowing that it's the second demand with more than 8 million tourists. And then comes the country of beauty, Colombia, and of course other ones like Argentina, Brazil, and we are here with a demand which is interesting. Some numbers, 10% of the region is our GDP. We have more or less 10% of the jobs, like worldwide. The flow has grown after pandemia. We are increasing by around 6%. That's important, interesting. And new products, new offers in Latin America and the Caribbean. So the industry is coming back. The industry had a big drop, like everywhere, and now planes are full. I travel a lot within Latin America and the Caribbean, and every time I jump into a plane, there's not even a seat empty. That means we're back. So tourism and travelers are moving along South America and Latin America quite often. The Caribbean has a growth of around 3%, and South America around 4%. These, as I said, are the offer, from the offer point of view. Peru is growing. Is someone from Peru again? No? Not anyone from Peru? No. Okay, Peru is growing a lot in terms of diversifying the offer. Has an incredible cultural heritage. So it's moving and understanding that the sustainability needs to be enhanced into their offer. Mexico as well, and other countries. So innovation is also something that needs to be achieved in Latin America. Experience, 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 experience. 72% of the tourists prefer to spend on an access to a unique experience. I believe that Latin America is an incredible destination to provide alive experiences within nature and the life culture. So people are identified that that could be a good place for that. So let's see some impact now. Mexico, Cozumel, the Caribbean, which is Riviera Maya, no? Pretty high impact. I don't know what's the number for example, for here, for Phuket, but at least there is 42 tourists for every local. Uy, 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 right? Let me finish down and I'll probably see where it comes from. Okay, Quintana Roo, Yucatan, 30 per one resident, Tulum. This is all Riviera Maya. This is all Riviera Maya, different parts. Cozumel is an island, Quintana Roo is the whole territorial, and Punta Cana, well, that's another island. But again, the Caribbean getting a lot of people, a lot of pressure. Paul, welcome. And it's pretty interesting to know and understand that some capitals of the main countries do not have that much pressure, like Bogota, which is quite important, the capital of Colombia, and Lima in Peru, and so on. Central America creates then hotspots in coastal towns, Nicaragua, Belize. I'm just coming back from Belize. Belize is also looking into tourism and trying to develop strongly the strategy. I will check where it comes from and I will let you know. So how we feel like Latin America and the Caribbean operates. First, let's see some tools that will be supporting the development of Latin America. Some public standards, like 6, which I got to know a few months ago. This is interesting. This is 8 countries in one. Powerful initiative. Still very slow motion with lots of challenges, but interesting. It covers, I think it's the only certification system in the world that will have public owned in 8 countries. Still to go, but interesting the way they are facing it and the way they are seeing it. We have in Argentina this, which has been, I've been eating too much vegetables here in Thailand, so I need some of my beef from Latin American wine. Hoteles Más Verdes in Argentina, in South Patagonia, is also very interesting. They are moving between Argentina and Uruguay, very successful. And of course, Chile is having this distinction on Sello S, which is recognized by the GSTC. So these are public standards that are very interesting. Of course, and Olga, you're very welcome. There are some private companies and CVs that are looking Latin America and the Caribbean with a lot of interest. Maybe there's some other CVs here that I don't know. Is there another CV? No? Olga's the only one? You, welcome. Where are you coming from?
We are from Hong Kong, but we have customers in later.
Perfect. Welcome, amigo. Super. So it's a continent that is starting to be seen because tourism there is growing and sustainability needs to move forward, and we're doing big efforts to try and align with sustainability. So let's see some, as a global stage, we have a lot, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this, a lot of international help from Peru to all the way from Central America and Mexico, some German companies, the BID, and many different kinds of support, especially for locals, for communities, for community tourism, is quite important. JICA from Japan is working also with Sitka in these 8 countries. This is a big help as well, because money-wise is difficult. Money-wise, to help grow and orientate tourism, we are very seasonable as well, especially in the Southern Hemisphere. So people are always having trouble to be sustainably economically. So they need help, they need knowledge, and these organizations do a great job by helping. This is from Spain, that we also have some help from Tenerife by their expertise, UNESCO, and this is the UN. So we need to maintain this. It's a huge help. And unfortunately, as many of you know, there was a huge help from USAID, from the States, that was cut it out, and that was a damage amazing. Tell me about it, because USAID used to help all the countries and in a very professional way. And that's how vulnerable we are, you see? It's quite different than here. I was speaking to some colleagues. In here, the demand is so big, there's so much money and cash flowing that there's a chance to help local communities. In Latin America, it's very hard to get the money for doing all this work. So this is me traveling in between Guatemala and trying to find Belize. Me and my wife over there on the back. What challenges do you recognize in your region? Let me show you some of the challenges we recognize in our region. Important challenges that we could achieve through this sustainable development. This is a tremendous theme. Climate emergency. Please don't speak anymore about climate change. It has already changed enough to turn into an emergency. So let's put words in the proper way, at least for respect for those people who are suffering in my country and many other countries in different ways, floods, fires, and many other things that are happening because of this. Climate emergency is installed, and it's always threatening our Latin America. As a reason of that, population is starting to move because of high temperatures, because of fires, lack of water, and many other things. These are big numbers, amazing numbers, that people are thinking that they cannot stay anymore where they live and change culture and so on. Biodiversity, wow. Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Central America, even the Caribbean. We have an incredible heritage, but look at this number. This is the percentage we're losing by year in terms of biodiversity. So if there's something that could help regarding this, it's called human encounters. I don't talk anymore about tourism. I speak about human encounters. For me, tourism is too little the word, and I have been speaking about this activity that we all belong as an incredible chance and choice called human encounters. So the way to stop this is providing tourism as a tool for conservation. Because if not, people have to live from the forest and they cut it down, and all these problems begins to happen, mining and so on. We also have this challenge that is not solved absolutely in my continent, which is inequity for gender for women, that still has some numbers that we need to work on. And thinking and knowing that this industry is mainly in the hands of the beautiful women of the world. So we need to be smart enough, we need to be technical and open minds to understand that this is a challenge for all of our continent. Some numbers in here: 54% of the global workforce in tourism is with women. However, some nasty stuff that we have to fix, that we have to understand, that needs to be different. And this happens a lot in Latin America and the Caribbean. The way husbands in the rural areas see and treat our women when they want to start a business or they want to start a little thing to help the family is very, I don't know how to say machista in English, but you understand. Sorry? Sexist? Whatever, right? And this is something very, very challenging in our country. And of course, there's a very difficult political scenario that has been there installed for the last 10 years from governments that are switching from one side to the other one, and violence and drug is a huge problem in our continent. That is, I have experienced it in my country. Chile used to be one of the safest countries in the world. Nowadays, it's getting very, very unsafe in the big cities, mainly because we're having drug dealers moving all along Latin America and the Caribbean. And that's basically because tourism doesn't reach the places where we should be putting out the drug production. That's another way that we can help to develop good things in Latin America. This is what I'm speaking about: violence and some really, really, the communities are beginning to get tired of these scenarios that are not usual for us. Deforestation is moving forward heavily. Also, Amazonia and many other places still moving forward regarding that. Amazon, I remember a couple of governments back in Brazil, this guy just forced people to go and deforest Amazonia, which is kind of like a crazy stuff. Mining is also a threat, informal mining in all over Latin America, which they not necessarily, formal and informal mining is also something important because they're not doing it at all in a very sustainable way. They are not so seen, so they can do it in a way that is not very good for the environment. Lots of oil dependency and extractivist activity. So this is a reality. This is a reality. Some places are getting high demand. In my country, we've been promoting in the north, San Pedro de Atacama and Torres del Paine for a long time, Rapa Nui. And I mean, the promotion agency never stood and never understood that loading carrying capacity is something that needs to go together with promotion. I mean, it's totally irresponsible to promote a place or a destination without the department of loading or carrying capacity. I don't speak about capacidad de carga because I believe that's for cows. I speak about the transformation of the place in acceptable limit of change. So some challenges we all have all over the world: the community relations with over-tourism, the visitor experience. First, the community, always. I believe personally that we do sustainable tourism not for the tourist. We do sustainable tourism for the community to live better. And then the responsible visitor has a good experience within a community that is living good. We don't set up circus for tourists. We set up good ways for the community to live better and be proud of who they are and what they have. And that is what it needs to happen in Latin America. Then responsible travelers go there and go with a mission to be in a nice way that community that is forcing and trying to move towards sustainability. Infrastructure suffers a lot, degradation, threats to the local culture, and so on. This could be perfectly well many cities of my continent is Venice, but we have small Venices all over. So, being said that, which is the reality, and I wanted to be very honest, which is probably many realities in many places around the world, we have some good things to be shared, and let's go on the way to see how we manage all this. There's a need of managing all these threats, all these roads that could take Latin America on the wrong way. So we dreamed, like 3 years ago, on trying to set up a common space to take care of those things that are outside of our country, outside of our comfort zone. There's a lot of challenges that needs to be achieved from a continent, not necessarily my Chile, my country, how much I sell, and my authorities are always looking to promote my country. We need to promote and take care of things that are outside my country and inside my country that they don't take care. So we thought that it would be very important to gather and perform an agenda for 2030 regarding the needs of this continent and achieve them all together, public, academic, private, everyone, trying to look after, at least to understand what was going on. And this was a dream that came true in the country of beauty, in Colombia, in Santa Marta, 2 years ago. We had this amazing meeting by working in 3 main aspects that I will tell you. This is the birth of ILAC, of this YULUCA alliance that is taking care and trying to at least take the work that is requested for Latin America and the Caribbean. What are our main goals over there is to try and understand a common agenda of the countries towards this continent. So Alianza YULUCA, you will understand what this word means. This is born in a national park, very important, called Tayrona. This is from the local aboriginals, the Kogis. We were walking over there with a guard, and then suddenly a little sign said over there, YULUCA. And I asked him what that means. And it means cooperation. It means common vision. From them, it's 4 communities living all over there with the government. And they get along pretty well, plus all other stuff that hangs around Tayrona. So it's an agreement. It's kind of like a common vision. And we said, that's what we need for Latin America and the Caribbean. So the name was born over there, and ILAC, of course, is Alianza YULUCA para Latinoamérica y el Caribe. What are our commitments over here? Opportunities, sustainability, to get along together, and the creation of this alliance. How do we work these challenges? We identified 3 main goals for Latin America. 3 is this, not this. 3. 3. It's so much that maybe 4 sometimes. The first one we started to talk about was tourism, conservation, and climate emergency, should say here. Climate emergency. Second one, local communities, and communities, again and again and again. And service providers, most of the guys we work with. And third, purposeful travel visitors, getting and arriving in the proper way. With subtitles and so on, we developed over there an executive committee and a development committee to work on all these matters. So, strong work in the development committee. We've been working for almost 2 years in these matters, almost ready. We hope it's going to be ready like in 3 more months with a methodology, a very strict methodology to work all these matters to end up having some conclusions. This is the logical framework methodology. Maybe most of you know this methodology that is very, very thin to try each of the challenges we have over here. What are the next steps? Finish this logical framework, finally we are considered as the chapter for the GSTC for the Americas, pilot it. We're probably within 3 or 4 months sharing this with the countries that are working in ILAC and have pilots in the solutions we're implementing in this, and then analyze the pilots and trying to find next steps for everyone. And we also have good news. There's a lot, which I was telling you, there's a lot of good examples of sustainable tourism in our continent. And by default, we're always looking to Europe, we're always looking to some other places of the world, which is fine. But we need to learn to look to our own efforts, our own achievements. And I would like to share with you now some of those good examples that we have been doing. I'm going to base them. Have you heard about this before? Yeah? No? You took my class. Come on. I'm going. So I'm going to try to put these good examples into these standards, right? That they are very alive in Latin America and the Caribbean, and to see how we're doing. Climate change adaptation, which is, we need to change this in the GSTC as well, which is one of the things that is threatening my country, and visitor management and natural sites could be something interesting in this magnificent continent, that it's getting very much threat by this climate emergency. Let me share with you one case study, which is called Route of the Parks in Patagonia, in Chile and Argentina. This is a tremendous project that gets 2,700 kilometers, more than 17 parks in conservation and sustainable tourism development, 18 million acres protected, and of course, there are local people that sees conservation and tourism as a good choice, as a good strategy to move forward. 91% of the territory is protected, and it has an amazing impact. Let's check it out.
Route of Parks of Chile and Patagonia. 17 national parks. More than 1,700 miles of scenic beauty. Shelter for species in danger of extinction. And home to more than 60 communities rich in culture and tradition. The Route of Parks of Chile and Patagonia spans a third of Chile and 3 regions. From Puerto Montt to Cape Horn, the Lake District, Aysén, and Magallanes. It unites the iconic routes of the Carretera Austral, the Patagonian channels, and the route to the end of the world. Chile and Patagonia is an opportunity for local economic development driven by nature-based tourism, a result of large-scale wildlands and wildlife conservation. It protects more than 29 million acres as national parklands. It is a nature-based solution to reverse the dual climate and extinction crisis. Its north and south ice scales is the third largest freshwater reserve in the world. The Route of Parks of Chile and Patagonia is a green lawn for the planet. One of the most powerful carbon reservoirs in South America, storing almost 3 times more carbon per hectare than the Amazon. The most beautiful scenic route in the world has been created, and it is in Chile. Travel, discover, and protect it. protected heritage of all Chileans.
I want to go there right now.
I have some tickets over here, don't worry.
But I've been already.
But for so you see, you can dream big, Sophia. Yes.
In 2018, I cycled through Canada Nacional. Wow. And it changed my life, and I came back and set up GS movement.
Good.
So regeneration.
Good. Excellent, excellent testimony. Yeah, thinking big, thinking big, thinking big. We have incredible things in Latin America and the Caribbean. Thinking big and be aware and help us to take care of this. This is a huge project. Anyway, guest experience, hoteliers. Let's go for hotel now, that we're always thinking for hotels in other places of the world. Let's see what we're doing in our continent.
We began shaping our definition of hospitality 20 years ago, bringing two concepts together, sustainability and luxury. This was how we wanted to make a difference in people's lives. Today, we continue to match our vision of sustainable hospitality practices with the big expectations of travelers looking for incredible experiences. The principles that guide us at the Cayuga Collection? Experience. Extraordinary natural settings have the power to clear the mind, inspire the soul, and awaken you to a new way of seeing the world. Learn. The people you'll meet here are teachers at heart and love nothing more than to see your eyes light up at new and curious facts, personal stories, and shared moments of discovery. Connect. Travel far, wide, within and with each other. And relax. Let go of what you think you should do and instead focus on creating space for serendipity. Travel is about connecting to our natural environment, to ourselves, to each other. And to us, this way of travel is so very special. To us, this is the Cayuga way.
Teachers of the heart. Interesting. They don't sell sheets from Egypt or for southern things. They sell human connection. They offer human connection. So this is part of what they do. They've been doing great. They administrate like 7 different lodges all over Central America, and they have won many, many awards because of their... This is the real luxury for me. I mean, when we ask ourselves what luxury is, I myself think that the way they manage this relationship between nature and human beings and local identity is really the experience of being in a luxury place. Their staff is amazingly happy all the time. You meet with them, and they are very pro guides, incredible scientific guides taking you on the way on the forest they are and so on. Hans Pfister does an incredible job in highlighting the good quality hotels over there with some very nice staff as a backup, talent with local people and having their own food being grown over there. Employees are very well treated. And of course, the planet, they do take care of the surroundings of their needs in the places they are. So another good, and of course, they've been working strongly with this concept of the supply of the local chain to provide value and identity into their proposal. And this is the first time I take a tour of behind the scenes and see what they do with all their trash, with all their disposals and things like that, the way they treat it. And it was amazing to learn how a hotel could do good in water, trash and everything that is shown into the guests. Wow, you gotta be courage for that. Okay, sustainable management system. Another project, Mexico, Xcaret. You don't know it? Let's know it.
We are a passionate and extraordinary family. We love sharing the best of ourselves in a warm, happy, and hospitable way. And we are convinced that life's most beautiful purpose is making our planet happier by spreading our great love for Mexico. We understand that sustainability is a part of life's present and future balance, and we find the motivation that encourages us to give the best of ourselves every day and make a positive difference with every step we take. That's why our sustainability model is based on 3 of the Sustainable Development Pillars: people, the planet, and prosperity. Always surrounded and driven by innovation and imagination, which, as we know, the more we use it, the more we have of it. On the people pillar, we put forth our talents and we pour our hearts into life's purpose, blissful travelers. We understand that we are people collaborating with others with a common goal, which means developing and establishing measures to promote the overall well-being of our collaborators and improving their quality of life. We play our part in creating sustainable communities in the regions where we have a platform and our collaborators reside. We manifest our passion for Mexico through various artistic expressions that represent a part of our identity and promote the preservation of our great cultural inheritance. We seek to be better inhabitants and coexist and interact respectfully in perfect harmony with all forms of life on Earth, for which we develop programs to learn and understand our relationship with our environment. On the planet pillar, we consider every action geared towards the preservation of our environment and its conservation. We develop and carry out reproductive and monitoring programs, prioritizing the care of species that have been listed as endangered. Our wildlife hospital has the necessary equipment and skilled team to care for our biological population and all of the medical veterinary emergencies of the wild fauna that inhabits our surroundings. We acknowledge our responsibility for the well-being of our specimens and all of those who coexist and interact within our environment. And to do so, we work under an international model of animal welfare. We are committed to operating each of our business units with a responsible and efficient management of water, energy, and waste. On the pillar of prosperity, we incorporate all actions that allow us to be an ethical and successful business that generates humane values and helps us boost the local and national economy. Our corporate government defines strategic goals to correctly guide the way, ensuring ethical conduct. We are aware of our management's value chain importance, which is why we are committed to the development of a sustainably shared culture through policies that prioritize buying locally and nationally, alongside business allies who share our sustainable approach. And so, we commit to creating a common future with values and integrity, helping Mexico grow with every strategy, decision, and action we set forth, contributing to build a happier world. We are Xcaret. We are Mexico.
Quite a few hotels in Mexico, very successful project. They are trying to do well in the Caribbean, trying to take good care of the biodiversity, but especially the people. They are very much into regenerate all the Mexican culture that is being lost by the invasion of hotels and chains that has nothing to do with Mexico. They are trying to keep that in mind and help with all this very nice. Check it out the way they work and see sustainability, and of course they have this managing plan for development and a lot of impact. I will share afterwards this presentation in case you need to get along with these numbers. They have a report every year on sustainability, and I think it's something that it's very well achieved in Mexico. Okay, water. Water. I learned a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years, the amazing risk that we are on and the importance of upstream and downstream. We normally see upstream. We do not see downstream most of the time of what happens with the sewage water and the use of it. So we were forced to do a regeneration program in the driest desert in the world, which is the most promoted destination in my country. Check it out. the most destination promoted in my country. It's called San Pedro de Atacama, and it's installed in the driest desert in the world in Atacama. So after 40 years promoting this place over here in the Andes, in the north of Chile, my government never understood that the local community was going to end up without water at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's 5-star hotels with swimming pools, 5 swimming pools each hotel, and the local women opens the water and there's nothing going out. And we still promote in ITV, World Travel Map, huge photographs of San Pedro de Atacama, which is this lovely town in the middle of the Andes that they survive on water coming from the melting of the very little snow remaining after climate emergency. So we were hired to do a measurement tool regarding the consumption of water in there. What did we do? Software to identify how much water each product and each guest will use in a hotel, in a restaurant, or in a tour operator. We did a manual of best practices, and we are doing training strongly to turn a town that was initially 20 years ago 4,000 people, now it's 20,000 people with the same amount of water. So this is part of the community and collaboration with local organizations approach, and this is the primarily result, 44 companies working on this, and all of them understanding the need of taking care of the water, and this is into a software that reports to the local mayor the consumption to take good action on public policy. This needs to end up in a good public policy to change the way we invite. It's not that we don't want tourism, it's that we want responsible travelers to go to the driest desert in the world to have an experience that is water care. That's the difference. Community services and livelihoods, the country of beauty, Daniel and Joanna. An amazing country in my continent. Amazing, I love it. With amazing people. But with some pains. And this country has been threat for a long time regarding all the problem on drugs. And this is a community that lives high away in the mountains that has been rethought, leaving the armies, the arms, going into tourism. It's an amazing example of how tourism, how human encounters can change lives. This is over here, but this example is all over places of Colombia and South other countries, and even in my country. It's just that this case study is amazing because they started to learn how to do human encounters in rafting. So they changed the guns for paddles. Quite a unique experience. And this is who they are.
Nosotros somos los muchachos exguerrilleros. Llegamos a un acuerdo de paz con el Estado, venir de la vida armada y llegar a los escenarios de la paz es otra página muy distinta.
Somos Remando por la Paz y Caguana Expeditions, un equipo de campesinos y excombatientes de las FARC que decidimos cambiar los fusiles por remos y las fronteras de guerra por espacios de paz. Usamos el rafting, el ecoturismo y las experiencias de aventura y de memoria histórica para llevar al mundo entero un profundo mensaje de paz y de reconciliación. Nuestra iniciativa nace a raíz del acuerdo de paz en la histórica región del Pato, en San Vicente del Caguán, Caquetá. Un territorio marcado por su pasado de guerra, pero que hoy transformamos hacia la construcción de paz y el cuidado de la naturaleza.
Tenemos los cajones del Pato, tenemos senderismo, proyectos productivos, también hacemos una obra cultural, compartimos también el espacio abierto a que puedan preguntar lo que en otro tiempo no podían, conocer esa naturaleza también de manos de excombatientes, de gente de la comunidad y de profesionales.
this is not tourism. This is hearts, drivers. Impact. They went to Italy to the championship world rafting event. Women that were forced to be killing people. Now they are doing rafting. And kids. That the only future they could have was to be the same. Now they are guides. This is what happens in Latin America. So let's move to Brazil now. This is where I met GSTC. Bonito. Have you been there? Oof. Have someone been in Bonito? Has someone been in Latin America? Yes. Ah, okay. Cool. Well, this is in Mato Grosso do Sur. Here. Near Bolivia. In the middle of the jungle, in the middle of nowhere. This was my first time I met Randy. We were two crazy guys arriving there into a seminar, a congress. And it's an amazing, amazing place that handles so well ecotourism. They have some good strategic planning. They have a software that regulates all attractions with the limit of acceptable change and an amazing economic development. They have monitoring, online system of reservations, a lot of data because of that software. And this is the secret, the digital voucher, which we are going to see and understand. And they work in three main aspects: social, environmental, and economics. Let's see what they do.
In the state of Mato Grosso do Sul is in the Borokena Mountains region and close to the Pantanal tropical wetlands. Bonito municipality covers an area of 4,934 square kilometers and has approximately 20,000 residents. Tourist services include more than 80 hotels in various categories with over 5,000 beds. There are over 50 tourist agencies to assist visitors and more than 40 points of interest for tourists. These include caves, rivers, springs, and waterfalls that tourists can visit. Bonito has an airport with weekly scheduled flights, as well as a bus station. It also has tourist transportation services to meet tourist needs. According to an estimate from the Department of Tourism, Industry and Commerce that is based on tourist voucher information, approximately 240,000 tourists visited Bonito in 2013. The success of the town of Bonito in the state of Mato Grosso do Sul, Brazil, is the result of ecotourism pioneers' vision, combined with later participative management by business people, private landowners, government agencies, and non-governmental organizations. In 1986, before its tourism potential was recognized, the Municipal Environmental Council was created to help preserve the town's natural beauty. The Municipal Tourism Council was created 9 years later as a key body to manage development. The tourist voucher system was also implemented in 1995. A limited number of people are allowed to visit each natural attraction each day. This limit is based on the natural attraction's carrying capacity. Tourist vouchers, which are sold and issued by local tourism agencies, cannot exceed these daily limits. Additionally, a tourist guide who has been certified by the Brazilian Tourism Institute, or Embratur, must accompany tourists on their visits to the natural attractions. The tourist guide organizes the groups on outings and provides them the information they need about the natural attraction they are visiting, as well as about safety and the environment. In addition to controlling the number of visitors, the tourist voucher system also provides destination managers precise information and is an efficient way to collect taxes. The Bonito management system's goals are preserving the natural attractions that are the basis for tourism at the destination, providing tourist quality experiences and services that are safe and sustainable, maintaining a system that produces value for the local community through sustainable tourism, offering opportunities to small businesses and the local community. Bonito has a solid foundation and built a quality natural tourism destination before receiving large numbers of tourists. Bonito stands out in Brazil for having created both public and private protected areas, such as the Bodoquena Mountains National Park, and for controlling visitors intact. Since tourism has increased, social and community issues are also important. Bonito also has good local NGOs, such as the Bodoquena Mountains Water Institute and Familia Legal, which run social projects that support families. Social and economic indices clearly show the progress that has been made in improving education and reducing poverty and unemployment. The fact that Brazilian tourists always name Bonito as the best ecotourism destination is a clear indication that it offers an attractive product. We believe that both nature and people are important, and that is what we work for.
It is carbon neutral. The whole destination is carbon neutral. It's in Latin America. Those are the amazing things we've been finding, that there are some very incredible efforts. Costa Rica is also doing well. This is well known. I'll show you the video afterwards. I don't want to run out of time unless you wrote a sleeping bag, but let's keep going through the presentation. And let's check one more project that it's in Peru. This is Mountain Lodges of Peru. There was the famous way to go up to Machu Picchu, the traditional way, in the train, lots of people, everybody to the left, everybody to the right, and then you go hiking all the way up to Machu Picchu. This family of Lima saw that the Incas also took this valley to go to Machu Picchu, and they decided to build a network of little lodges on the way that you walk. But the lodges are not any lodges. They are very special because they are from the community also. It's a mixed model that the owners from Lima offered 25% of the business just because the local culture was so important. They co-owned the business. And they take very seriously the respect for the local community, Wakawasi, developed in three main pillars, which is authenticity, self-confidence, self-esteem, so needed for our local people, and the sense of place. And this is the model, Mountain Lodges of Peru, with Wakawasi community. They own 25%, the local community, which 98% is valuated in their culture, and just 2% to provide the piece of land where they were going to build the lodge. So the guides, the cooking people, the people that does your bed, everything is from the Wakawasi community that they are working over there.
In 2006, Mountain Lodges of Peru sponsored the creation of Yanapan, Peru. We are here at El Pedregal, a stopping point for many hikers along MLP's Salcantay Track. So what is the real connection between Mountain Lodges of Peru and the Yanapan project?
En Oyepata tenemos las asociaciones donde se ha trabajado y se trabaja con mujeres que en algún momento de su vida no tenían un tema de crecimiento. Ahora todas ellas tienen una meta que cumplir, muchas de ellas han logrado que sus hijos, sus hijas sean profesionales.
So I've been exploring this beautiful place all day long, and I'm just wondering, is there any new projects that are coming up with this specific location?
Y Yanapana tiene todo un equipo de personas y todos somos mujeres las que lideramos. Estamos capacitados para poder asumir cualquier espacio que tenemos desarrollado, como son los 3 proyectos de la crianza de cuyes, las plantas medicinales y hortalizas.
Bertha, I heard you were the head of a group of women and working with textiles and knitting and weaving. Can you tell me a little bit more about your background in that?
Chaynatan ñañay nuqayku puririyku ñawpaqman kuñunaykuspayku kay tejidota ruwariyta qallariyku.
Montanloyos Perú en relación a Yanapano Perú no es un tema de responsabilidad, más que eso es un compromiso. Es una de las causas que en Montanloy, en todos sus refugios, el 99.9% es que es gente local.
99% of local stuff. Mayacán, Mexico.
We have been here for centuries. Now, it's time for new beginnings. This is the new era of Mayacán. Natural harmony. Ancestral wisdom. Sacred flavors. Living heritage. Hidden serenity. Mayan cuisine. Eternal legacy. Untouched beauty. Endless journey. Golden ritual. Secret sanctuary. Timeless knowledge. Biodiverse waters. The real new era is within you. Visit Mayacán, Mexican Caribbean, the signature paradise of the world.
Very creative video.
They were pushed away to the backyard. Maya communities were pushed away by hoteliers. That's not the model we want in my continent. So, green gas emissions, conservation. I went to a meeting in the Caribbean for sustainability, and it was in Iberostar in Punta de Cana, and I looked at this 5,000 bed hotel and I said, what am I going to do here? And I changed my mind. And I have a lot of respect for them now. They're really doing serious stuff. I didn't see any plastic bottle the whole time. 5,000 beds times 3 bottles a day, 15,000 bottles saved a day in the hotel, and many other things that they are doing strongly to try and have their sustainability plan move forward. So we have to say and think that big guys also can do better for sustainability in all types of things, like creating opportunities with local people, nature, food, climate action, and so on. My respects for this project that is worldwide, and they have several hotels, and they are trying to do the best they can. Food waste is very serious in this hotel. Very seriously done and very well done. I did check it out, and they're doing also the relationship with reforestation of mangroves, many other things, corals, that in the Caribbean, it's a big, big thing. Anyway, they have some certifications. They have won different prizes and have partnerships. So they are, it's for me, another big example of a big project that is towards their staff, doing good actions and inclusivity, equity, and engaging with their staff, actions regarding all the local community, local committed, including reforestation of coral reefs, which is also very seriously investigated with scientists and so on. And my respect for all that this big project is doing regarding all their strategy. And fishing also, to include 100% of seafood in Mexico comes from the local fishermen, local communities, and of course, saving energy and different aspects. This is what I told you. Their amenities are also well thought. They don't use any more plastic at all in any of their hotels. And the treatment of food is also in a very proper way. So, solid waste. This is an interesting project. Check it out. I don't know. Afterwards, would you tell me how many you know? These guys will be operating in my country. Look how long we are. Wine district. Just don't get lost. Wine district, important. Good wine. And these guys will operate all the country in cycling. It's called Amity Tours, and these guys somehow said we want to become sustainable, so we will do a zero waste program to have all of our operations. So they started in 2019, all the way up to now. They are now zero waste. They have done a big effort by changing the whole way they provide services and food into their clients. This is the biggest, by far, tour operator in cycles, probably in South America. They were small, but they grew very much in the last 10 years through ATTA. So they started to inquire what was the ideas from guides, drivers, and so on, and make it happen to provide all their services nowadays with zero waste production. They recycle all of their water bottles and everything. They do containers for recycling, cans, glass, plastic, all of that. They take to the town everything that they produce in their excursions. They procure from the local places with nice packaging all their products to become afterwards all what they do, water and beer, which is very important in my country, good beer, tropera. At the end, vegetables from local purchases to have this table, zero waste. Check it out. $25 per person to be zero waste, $50 per person if you purchase in the regular way. Interesting. You save money and you save the planet. Okay. Paul, please jump in. It's time to work. Venga. You're going to do it much better than me, Paul, and I'm running out of time. Come on, quickly. Come on, Paul. Vamos, vamos, vamos. My neighbor, come here very quickly. I'll pass the slides and you have 2 minutes for 150 slides. Come on. Go ahead. My friend Paul, go ahead.
So the country is 700 islands, 2,000 keys. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I think this is what the media is. We currently have 8 successful destination stewardship councils across 7 of our islands, and they're doing very, very exciting things. And I think you were there from the very beginning. You know all of this stuff, what they do, so it's really them getting into the community. But if I had to say 2 things that we're very, very proud of that they've accomplished is awareness and an understanding of how sustainability is so important to our vulnerable environment. And they continue to do that. As you can well imagine, we did this obviously in partnership with GSTC, but it's very challenging because of our geographical makeup to continue to encourage them and to engage them and provide the funding that they need to continue to do their work. So it's a challenge, it's a journey, but we're very proud of what they've done. 2 things that they've done most recently that we're proud of is in the island of Abaco, they were able to get, the council in Abaco was able to get one of the fuel production companies to provide them with used 55-gallon oil barrels. They engaged the community, cleaned them out, had the students come in and paint the barrels, and they are now used as recyclable bins throughout the island. On the island of Andros, through the council there, they were able to restore some of the natural trails. They got funding to put signage up. In the island of Cat Island, we have a healing hole, which is very similar to the Dead Sea, which is really, really incredible. You should all go and see it. They're working on signage and trails and trying to promote it in a very, very sustainable, balanced, and responsible way.
Super, you're hired. Good. An applause for Paul, please. Does anyone wants to go to Bahamas? Cool, huh? Okay, we'll see. This is Honduras. I will do it very, very fast because we're running out of time. This is an island as well that they have done a nice DMO regarding. This is an early adopter of the GSTC, Roatan, started in 2013 with our early adopter. The photographs is important, and then the work is important to achieve slowly by slowly implementation and do better. And they have done a great job. They were red like hell in the beginning, and now look at that. Still red, but a little bit more green, a little bit more yellow. That's a joke. Hard to get rid of red, but easy, not easy, but challenge yourself to get more greens and more yellows with the local community. So a lot of progress, good performance, 26% improvement, and they have from nasty stuff, 61 reds to 29 and so on. So another island that has done very great in sustainability in the Caribbean. So what do we need to move forward in destinations? We need you guys, we need people, local people, we need the GSTC to train, then we need to move forward to end up hopefully in certification. So take your phones. This is a tool that you may know, but it's there. Destination assessments, that is very useful. It's nowadays a tool that the GSTC is providing to help local staff to understand the way the local destinations are moving forward. Got it? Okay. Destination stewardship. It's also a nice kit that step by step shows you what to do in the destination. Bien, Sofia. This is another very good tool. And this is a tool that is kind of internally, but I wanted to share with you because it's an Excel that is working with the new standard and the new criteria on tour operators, hotels, and destinations as well. That's auto evaluation in Excel that works with all that stuff. For MICE as well, anyway, you can reach me afterwards, and I will share all these things. So are we thinking in sustainable tourism? Are we thinking that UN is wrong? UN is wrong because UN is not thinking in past tense. It's only thinking in the present and in the future. We should think on what we have done wrongly in the past time. So to start thinking about this marvelous world on rewilding, especially that we have a way of living that we need 1.7 planets to live the way we live now. So check it out, you decide. We keep doing the same thing, we need 2.5 planets. We do sustainable tourism, still needing 1.5 planets, or we start speaking about regeneration. But regeneration on nature, it looks like we need to approach in a different way the solution. And this is where it comes, what I have been speaking to you today, guys. We commit to understand that tourism has a huge component on human encounters to regenerate the social fabrics of our society in parallel with nature and our beautiful planet, to reconnect between each other ones. There's no way we can move forward pretending to have all criteria accomplished if we are not able to be better human beings in between us. So we have to start looking for the respect of our humanity. And we have to start driving and reading a new story with a compromise to do better with this planet. And probably the system of tourism we've been carrying on needs to be taken down and have another system based in human beings. Sophia, can you come here, please, for a second? Sure. Don't be scared. Can everyone stand up, please, for a second? So nothing of this could be done if we are not thinking and facing a very simple way to start from here to have Latin America and the Caribbean and your own destinations, Europe, Asia, whatever, if we not see each other one and, of course, hug each other one. Please go ahead. Okay, have a seat. This is not forever. Miracles will get to an end. Olga, there's no time. There's no time because I'm running out of time. We have to be relevant. You have to be relevant. Every time we wake up in the mornings, think very carefully, what are we going to do? And be relevant on the decision and actions you take. We need to go together. By myself being the winner, the planet not necessarily wins. We need to work together. We need to have these human encounters to face all these challenges and values to take care of them. Basically, for them. They are waiting for us. It's our purpose that we provide for the new generations a new way of living. That if human encounters has all the values to achieve that these kids can live better. Thank you very much and greetings.